All right, welcome everyone. As a business coach, I appreciate you all giving your time today live or in the recorded version of this. It's important to be continuing to invest in yourselves, growing and developing as a business leader to improve your business. And today's session is definitely going to give you some things to think about in terms of taking your business to the next level. So let me jump in and introduce our host today. Tammy Coleman is the founder and president of Element 212. She received her degree in marketing and English writing from the University of Pittsburgh in 1997 and her MBA in 2011 from Anderson University. Tammy founded Element 212 in 2008 and has dedicated most of her professional life to helping her clients reach and engage their ideal customers through targeted marketing research, strategy, and execution. She is joined today by Kyle Burke. He's a research strategist at Element 212. He's been a critical member of the Element 212 team since 2016. Kyle's an extremely data-driven individual who believes no strategy should be put together without first getting the insights needed to better understand the why behind them. He enjoys measuring the growth of his clients year over year and being a part of helping them achieve their marketing goals. Without further ado, Tammy and Kyle, take it over.
All right. Thank you, Tim. So thank you guys for joining us this afternoon. We really appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time to allow us to talk about some of the things that we love the best, which is research. That's my baby and what I do with the company. So before we get into the meat of what we want to talk about today, I want to share just a little very brief story just to put a little bit of context around, what all this, like why we're talking about this. So back in 2010, our company was invited along with a couple other companies, marketing firms, to present an integrated marketing proposal to Pass to Quality, which is a nonprofit organization that provides ratings and education and audits and things like that for daycare providers. You may have seen their signs. They're throughout all of Indiana. You may have seen their signs with different daycare providers. And what they do is they help daycare providers market to their audience, the families, showcasing the quality of service that they provide. So Pass to Quality was having issues with their marketing and wanted to look at different marketing firms to provide better service for them against who they were using at the time. So we came in and we met with the Pass to Quality team and we talked through their goals, we talked through budget and had some in-depth conversation about some of the gaps, some of the problems that they were having in their current marketing efforts. So we had about a week and a half to put together our proposal and come back and present that to the Pass to Quality organization. So when we did, we came back and the other two marketing firms pitched their approach of how they would do their marketing. But when it came to be our turn, we as a team collaboratively, collectively felt that our answer was, we don't know. And the reason for that is not because we didn't understand the tools or how to use them, but we really only knew surface level information about the Pass to Quality organization, and we knew virtually nothing about their audience. Now, we knew that they were daycare providers, but we didn't know anything about what their pain points were and what they needed. And so our approach was, instead of coming in and saying, you need ad buy, you need, billboards and, email marketing, all this integrated approach, first we wanted to do research. So our approach, our contract was, you need market research first before we can provide an integrated approach. So for our company, we felt like that was a more responsible approach to what they were looking for. We just really felt like, how would we put together a marketing strategy that first our company really believed in, but also that would produce the results that Pass to Quality was looking for? Because right now they weren't getting the results, which is why they were looking to switch in the first place. So we pitched research, and the Pass to Quality team really resonated with that. They felt like, yep, that is really what we need. So they did end up hiring our company to first do the brand insights and then create a marketing strategy based on the data that we actually found. And what I want to share before we get into the meat of all of this is really, when you think of any organization, whether you're a jeweler, a construction company, a freelancer, or even a business coach, what do you do before you do anything with a customer? If you're hired to come in and redo a roof, you don't just say, oh, it's going to be this much money. No, you have to go in and you have to assess the home and you have to talk through the issues that they're already having. If you're a business coach, and like we recently hired a business coach for our company, and we can't expect a business coach to just come in and say, these are the tools you need. These are the approaches that you should be taking. This is what you should be doing financially, without first really diving in and understanding what the problems are and what your goals are as a company. And so the same holds true for marketing. So what we want to really talk around today is this concept of really what you need to do in your organization before you dive into the tools and the execution of your marketing. We want to talk around the importance of really understanding that foundational piece that you need as a company. You need to really understand, who your audience is, who is your ideal customer, what are they looking for, and not only just the tools that they're using, but that emotional side. What are their pain points? What is their vetting process? What do they really need to understand to choose you as a company instead of your competitor? And then how do you understand that information? How do you gather that data? And then how do you apply that to your touch points? Now, how do you use that in your tools as your customer moves through their buyer's journey and they engage with your company at different touch points? How do you use that information? So these are the things that we're planning on talking around today. And I hope this adds value to your plans for 2021. And I'm going to pass this off to Kyle to get us started.
Excellent. Thank you. So as Tammy said, research is something that we're very passionate about. And when it comes to research, there's really a lot of different ways that it can be approached. But we know that from our own experience, the most effective data that we can gather comes from those people that really know your brand the best. And those are going to be your customers and your team members. And when it comes to lead conversion and supporting sales, one area where that research is really going to help you is being able to develop a customer persona. And for those of you that might not know what that is, it's just a semi-fictional representation of that ideal audience, of an ideal person that's going to represent who your audience is. And by developing that persona, you're really going to use it to help tailor the content that you're putting out, the messaging you're putting out, and just your overall marketing approach to meet those specific needs, behaviors, and concerns of that audience. And so you're going to really utilize qualitative research done with your best, most ideal customers to give you the insights that you need to create your customer persona, and that are going to really lay the groundwork for your marketing strategies to that specific group. Now, it's true that most businesses are going to have multiple personas, but for today's purpose, we really want to show an example of one specific persona and talk around how understanding it can benefit your marketing efforts. So the persona example today that we're going to use is for Acme Chiropractic Care and for Sarah Smith. And the information that we gather here is used to support the understanding of Sarah's needs in reference to chiropractic services, but the information that you would gather for your company would vary depending on what industry you're in. So looking at this here, some information that a persona is going to give you is who is this person? Some demographic information would be that Sarah is 32, she's married, she's a director of marketing at the company that she works for. Some background information would be that she's loyal, she's been growing with the company that she's working with, she's a financially sound individual, and she lives a suburban lifestyle. And some identifiers there are going to be, she's a busy person, but she values balance in her life. She's someone who enjoys learning, who enjoys researching. She's well educated, she has a college degree, and she's really into healthy living. Some why information that you're going to uncover during that persona is going to be some of the goals. One of Sarah's goals is going to be, she's really looking to stay physically fit. She's got children, and so she wants to be able to keep up with them. She wants to be able to keep up with what's going on in the health and wellness world. Like we said, she's someone that's into that. Finding a healthcare provider who knows her well, that can support her for the long term, is going to be something there. And then why motivations for her are going to be, she's experienced some increasing aches and pains due to age, like the rest of us. She's looking for a holistic approach to wellness and healing. And some motivators that are really going to affect her are customer testimonials, peer success stories with someone. And you're also going to get into some what information. What are some challenges that Sarah is facing? She's got availability for appointments challenge. She's busy, she's a working mom, she has a very active lifestyle. She's looking to find that local provider that can really show that they're up to date with certifications. And then someone with that really takes that holistic approach to healing. Some pain points that Sarah's experiencing is, she's having difficulty interpreting her symptoms. She obviously has a fear of misdiagnosis when it comes to something like chiropractic care. That could be something that obviously could lead to enhancing the injury if she gets poor or incorrect treatment. So those are some things that are some pain point issues for her. It's also going to uncover some how information. And this information is really going to help your company develop the right connections and solution points for this ideal customer, because you understand them a little bit more intimately. So knowing the up-to-date certifications are something that really Sarah appreciates. Understanding that short or evening appointment hours are something that's really going to resonate with her because of her busy lifestyle. Showcasing your holistic services is something that she's after. So knowing that will help you know what to put out there. Knowing that customer reviews and case studies, even testimonials that you can get, are going to be good for Sarah. They're going to really help build that confidence with her. Highlighting any blogs around trending health and wellness topics that you've put together are going to be good, because it shows Sarah that you're up to date on what's going on in the industry. And then showcasing your longevity, both in business and with customer relationships, is going to be beneficial for Sarah, because she wants to know that you've been doing this for a while, but she also wants to know that you do a good enough job that people continue to come back to you and that they see what they're looking for when they experience your company. So that customer persona is really going to help you understand your customer, which is going to make it easier for you to tailor the content you're putting out there to meet those specific needs and the behaviors of Sarah and all the concerns that she's having. So once you get that customer persona, you understand them a little bit better, the next step in research is really going to be to uncover their buyer's journey. What are they going through as they're moving from awareness into consideration and ultimately into making that purchase decision?
So moving into the buyer's journey, we're going to keep with Sarah as an example. But one thing I want to really point out in this process is, and I love Simon Sinek. I don't know if any of you guys are Simon Sinek fans, but one of the things that he shared that really stood out to me is customers make buying decisions based on emotions, and then they rationalize it based on logic. And part of the goal of the buyer's journey is to understand both concepts of your customer. What are they emotionally going through as they're aware of a pain or a need, and how are they rationalizing that with logic as they go through their buyer's journey and making those considerations of who they're going to consider for buying from, becoming a customer of, and what information is the most important for them to actually make that decision to choose you over all the millions of indirect and direct competitors. So as we go through this, think through your own customers and your own industry. We're going to use Sarah as an example, but really strip this down and think about how your own customers would be answering these questions. So keeping, again, Sarah as the example, just to put context around this, Sarah is experiencing back pain and she's in her awareness stage, but she doesn't know what's causing her back pain. And so she really doesn't have a name to this pain yet. And so she doesn't really know what provider is going to be the best for her. So she's in this what we call educational research stage in her buyer's journey. So some of the things that we're going to uncover, or you would uncover as you go through research in this awareness phase, is you want to uncover how is she defining the problem that she has. So what kind of terms is she using, is she putting in as she's trying to define this problem? And then what caused her to start researching solutions to her problem? And this really speaks to the emotional side. How long did she wait before she started looking? What kinds of things was she going through emotionally? What hindrances was it causing? Was she not able to take care of her children or go to work? What kinds of things and words was she using to describe where she was in this process before she started looking for an actual provider? This is all information that is crucial for companies to know so that they can connect with Sarah during her awareness stage. And then finally, within her awareness stage, where is she researching to become more aware of the solutions available to her? So as Kyle indicated, is she looking at blogs? Is she watching YouTube videos? Is she talking with friends? What kinds of steps and actions is Sarah taking? And what kind of language is she using to describe where she is in this process? of the awareness stage to move her into the consideration stage. When you understand this information, and I always say, if you miss them at the awareness stage, you've missed them for good, because now she's going to be moving into consideration and really starting to look at solution providers. So you want to connect with her early there so that you are part of that consideration stage. So as Sarah moves into the consideration stage, she's now defined exactly what her problem is. And now she can actually start looking at providers to solve who can solve that problem. So as she's in this consideration stage, some of the things that's important for our business to understand is what were all the solutions available to her. So understanding what indirect competitors she's looking at. So pretending you're the chiropractic company in this scenario, she's looking at some chiropractic companies, but she's also looking at yoga studios and online resources and remedies that she can do at home. We're all a bunch of DIYers now with YouTube, so that's always going to be a competitor. So you want to understand what indirect competitors she's looking at first. And then you want to understand, where is she learning more information about the solutions to her problems? So now she's maybe reading blogs on the yoga, on different yoga studio companies, and she's watching YouTube videos, and maybe she's visiting websites like WebMD to learn more about what solutions would be best for her and what kinds of companies, you know, are maybe referred. So now she decides, okay, I know I've decided I need a chiropractic company, but why is that? And as we're going through this, remember, these are things that your research company is uncovering from your own customers. So when we're talking to customers that have actually selected you, why did they select you in that consideration stage? What kept you on that short list? So in Sarah's case, maybe she watched a chiropractic video, a video from a chiropractic company that really spoke to the direct pain that she had. And maybe she already tried those at-home remedies and they didn't work. And maybe she's really looking for that expert who can really solve that pain for her. So you want to understand what it was that caused her to actually choose your industry, not necessarily your company at this stage, but your industry. And then within that consideration stage 2, you want to understand, now that she's narrowed it down to a chiropractic provider, who is she looking at? Who are your direct competitors that are in Sarah's, you know, view of opportunity for her to choose? And so you want to understand who your direct competitors are and what she's looking at with those direct competitors. So now Sarah's narrowing it down and moving into that decision stage. So as she enters the decision stage of her buyer's journey, now she has to really narrow it down to 3. And we've all gone through this with anything that you purchased. You know, you're looking at different companies, whether it's a hospital or maybe a chiropractic company. Okay, I've got to select one. So now I'm going to narrow it down, and who am I going to choose? So the question here is, did you make that short list? And the goal is understanding the pieces in the awareness and consideration stage to get your company on that short list of that decision-making process. So did you make the short list, and why? So what information kept your business in Sarah's vetting process as she's looking through? And when you have for your company that customer persona and these insights of their emotional stages as they're going through their buyer's journey, that will help you better position your company to be in this short list and really understand what really mattered to your customers as a whole. And remember, you're not just talking to Sarah, we're talking to a bunch of different customers to really understand the trends of what their decision-making process is, so that your marketing can be the most on point it can be during these phases. So understanding what information kept your business in her vetting process. You know, was it the online peer reviews? Was it resources you provided on your website? Maybe it was price. What are the things that really matter to Sarah and other customers like Sarah to make that decision to choose your company? And then finally, why did Sarah make the decision to choose your company? So what were the top things that really mattered to her to make her select you over that short list of competitors? And understanding that kind of information will really help your business be better positioned to connect with your ideal customer and also convert them. But what we always say is conversion isn't the end all be all. We don't just want to convert Sarah and others like her as just a one-time customer. The goal is retention. The goal is to make her a loyal customer, have her, you know, share reviews and refer you to other people and come back to you when she has additional pains. And so we always say retention really could be that fourth stage of the buyer's journey, but it really only can happen when you're meeting Sarah's and others like her, their expectations as they're moving through their buyer's journey. So Kyle is going to talk a little bit about now how we gather this information to create that customer persona and that buyer's journey for your business.
That's exactly right. So we've talked about, how important it is to know who your customer is, to really more deeply understand them, and then to more deeply understand the journey that they went through to come to you. And you uncover that information through research. That's why we're so passionate about this, and that's why we want to talk about this today. When you're able to talk with the right people and you're able to ask the right questions, you're really going to uncover the information that you need that's going to help you align your brand and the messaging of your brand with those potential customers' expectations. And it's really important here that you utilize both the qualitative and the quantitative research, because you don't just want to gather the information, but you want to be able to validate that information once you've gathered it. So you're going to start with qualitative research, and that's where you're going to gain those insights as to your company's strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, what your differentiators are, but it's also going to help you understand what the benefits, the expectations, and the deliverables that your customers value and that they're looking for while they're out there. And you're going to do that qualitative research through one-on-one interviews with your customers, with key members of your team, and when available, you really want to do it with lost leads as well. You want to get some insight as to maybe why they didn't choose you, so that you can be putting your best foot forward when you're going after customers in the future. By interviewing employees and customers, you're going to uncover where you've got the congruences and where you've also got some gaps in that perception of your brand and the messaging that you're trying to reach your customers with. And that's going to really help you create those on-point strategies that are well-rounded to not just help close sales, but they're really going to benefit a variety of other departments within your company as well. So once you've done the qualitative research, then you move into the quantitative research. And that's going to be the next step that's really going to add that statistical significance to the data once you've gathered it. By gathering large quantities of responses around those key concepts that you brought to light during the qualitative research, you're going to be able to highlight trends, and you're going to be able to show facts that can really help you confirm patterns and put together those strategies that you're looking for to meet those customers. You're going to use larger sample sizes here. You're not going to really do as many in-depth interviews. You're going to do more surveying and really get much more information gathered here. And that information is better because it helps you know that what you've gathered in your qualitative interviews really resonates with a larger group of people, and it's going to allow you to focus in on what's really important to those people. So once you have all that information, you've gone through the research, how do you effectively use it? How do you put it to use? And that's going to be different for every company, but with every company, no matter what industry you're in, every touch point with a customer is an opportunity to either gain them or lose them. So by identifying that customer persona, by identifying the journey they went through, you're going to be able to provide the resources that they're looking for at the times they're looking for them. So again, let's consider Sarah. Let's think about all the touch points that she had as she was looking for help to solve her back pain problem. So in the awareness stage, she was talking with peers. She was searching online to identify her pain a little bit more clearly. As Tammy said, maybe she was posting questions on Facebook to get some feedback. She was probably using search engines to gather information. She was really trying to get a better understanding of her problem from new perspectives. So in this stage, you want to be promoting resources that you've put together around the basics of understanding back pain. The things that Sarah's trying to do, you want to be providing information for her there. And this is where you want to be providing them in the places where she is. So once she moves from that awareness stage, she's moving now into her consideration stage. And this is where she's educating herself more on those solutions available to her. And she's really starting to narrow down what's best. This is where she's really diving deeper into reading some blogs. She's watching YouTube videos. She's starting to look at ratings for providers. She's probably going to some websites here. And this is where you want to be promoting blogs that you've put together around back pain solutions, any videos that you might have around those topics, so that you can provide Sarah with the information she's needing as she's considering what is right for her. So once she decides, the chiropractic care is right for her, now she moves into that decision stage. And now she's vetting her options to make that final decision. So this is where she's really getting into reviews, reading them more in depth, She's starting to maybe get pricing information. She's actually maybe starting to contact people so that she can have consultations or conversations now. So this is where you want to be putting those customer testimonials high level so that she can find them and build that trust. If you have any incentive offers, this is where you want to be putting those out there to kind of nudge Sarah into reaching out to you to see if what you have to offer is right for her. You really want to be encouraging Sarah to make contact with your company now and schedule that time to talk with you so that you can let her know why you're the right solution for her. So as Tammy said, now we're into that last stage of the buyer's journey, that kind of that relationship stage here. And this is where Sarah really needs you to follow through on the expectations that you set as she was going through her buyer's journey. So for her, she needs you to help relieve her back pain at this point. That's why she came to you. She needs you to really give her that solution. But she also probably is looking for someone that has a staff who can answer questions so that if she's between appointments and she has something come up, can I reach out and get some information from them? Things like making billing easy for Sarah to manage. As we talked about earlier, she's busy. She's got a busy lifestyle. She's a working mom. So you don't want to make paying her bill a burden for her. Make that something that's easy for her. This is where you want to stay in touch with her to ensure that as she has those future needs arise, she comes back to you. So making those follow-up calls to see how Sarah's doing after she's been in. Sending her helpful information through blogs or e-news so that she can stay top of mind with what's going on in the industry and more solutions that she might be able to come to you for later. Sending thank you cards out after that appointment. Just continuing to meet Sarah's needs so that the next time she needs someone who can help provide her that back care solution, she comes back to you. So the goal of all of this, creating the customer persona, going through the qualitative and the quantitative research is really going to be to help you align your marketing with your ideal customers and really fix those gaps and the touch points that your customers have. And you're going to do that by really providing the resources they're looking for at the right times as they're navigating this journey. So this is really going to help your company offer that full brand experience that's going to resonate with your customers. And it's not just going to convert leads, but eventually it's going to take that customer and it's going to turn them into a loyal customer. And over time, if you continue to deliver, they're going to become a brand advocate and starts telling more people about you. So that's really what this is all about, is creating that lifelong customer who's also going to advocate for you. So Tammy's going to kind of pull this all together now.
Yeah, so the thing I think the most is, so whether your company is similar to past equality, where maybe you're feeling like our marketing isn't doing its job and we're not seeing the ROI that we want to see, or this year has been a crazy year. 2020 has just been insane. But even putting this pandemic aside and all the changes that we'll talk about in just a second, because it kills me how much has changed, even with myself and the way I purchase. But every year, businesses have changed, whether you realize it or not, because you've got points of contact that are maybe retiring or maybe moving on to other companies. You've got two different groups of younger audiences moving into the market. You've got the college grads moving into a certain area within a customer's standpoint. They've got a certain amount of money that they can spend every year and a certain way that they buy things. So you've got college kids moving into the buying market. You've got high school students also now getting jobs and moving into the buyer's market. And so every year your audience is changing just a little bit, whether you know it or not. And that's why we love research so much, because it's so important to understand what this new area of, or new group of customers, what their needs are, what their desires are, how they make their decisions when they go through a buying process, or what their emotional standpoint is. And so we really feel like marketing is super crucial, and research before marketing is super crucial, to go through that process to really understand the information that you need before you start putting together marketing strategies. And one of the things that I was sharing earlier with our team was just, the change in the way people are making their buying habits. Because for myself, never in a million years would I have thought that I would have bought groceries and had them delivered to my house from my bed. Like, this is the first time ever I'm like, oh, this is great. And because of all the changes that are taking place in the economy, my buying habits have changed. And maybe you all think, of yourself and some buying habits that have changed within yourself even. what is happening with your customers and what do you need to know about your customers to make sure that you can connect with them to keep them as a customer, or what kind of changes do you need to make within your process or the way you deliver your services to make sure that you're staying ahead of this economy and this changing market that, from what everyone talks about, it's not going away. So what we really want to just instill upon you is that research is really that one tried and true essential tool that will really help your business navigate the changes in your marketplace, changes in the economy, and changes in your customer. And so what we hope today is that you learned a little bit about some of the pieces that you need to understand and gather from your customers, and really to think about your customer touch points and how your touch points connect with your customer as they go through their buyer's journey, so that you can make really solid and, I don't know, quality connections between your business and your customer. So we put together just a few questions that we really want you to consider for 2021 as you're planning out your marketing. And the first question is just, when was the last time you took the pulse of your customer base? So are you doing surveys? Are you getting customer feedback? Are you doing individual interviews with your customers? And as Kyle pointed out, even your team members. So understanding information from your team members and how what's the difference between what your team members are saying versus what your customers are saying, based on what your differentiators are, your benefit, your value. How do they see those things similarly, and how do they see those things differently that can affect your marketing and your messaging within your marketing? Because it's important to know, it's not just the tool that you use, it's what you're saying and how you're using your content on that tool as well. So there are two pieces to those pieces in marketing. The second question is just, from where is your marketing strategy developed? Past Equality, when we talked about them, their original marketing strategies were developed just from their marketing team, and they never took the pulse of their customer or interviewed their daycare providers. The two other marketing firms that pitched their ideas, they were pitching ideas just based on best practices from the tools that, are used. Facebook is now available. Remember when Facebook came out? Well, everybody felt like they needed to be on Facebook, but that's not necessarily true for every industry. And so just because the tool is available, it doesn't mean it is necessarily the right tool for your industry. And so really, where is your marketing strategy coming from? Is it coming from you, or is it coming from data from your customers? And then lastly, how are you currently monitoring the changes in your industry and market? Like we said, there's a ton of changes going on right now. What are you doing to stay on the forefront of maybe the emotional side of your customers? Maybe they're worried about spending money because they don't know if the economy is going to shut down again. Maybe they're worried about, businesses closing in their area, and I don't know, there could be so many different changes that are taking place with everything that's going on right now. We're all rushing to try and stay ahead of it. So really just understanding, how are you currently monitoring it, and are you, and evaluating that for your own business. So what we did was we put together a landing page here, element212.com/webinar. And we have these resources that we talked through today on this page for you to download. And really what we'd love you to do is take those sheets and really look at them again for your own company, mapping out, what are your customer touch points? What questions should you be asking your customers? I mean, we always say it's better for a third party to do market research so you can get honest and transparent feedback. But really, if you don't have a budget for that, it's still important to at least consider those questions and consider, what would your customers say? So take those documents, strip them down for your own business, and we really hope that this added value for your company, and that this will help you start setting the foundation for what your plans would be for 2021. So that's all we have for you guys today. We'd love to open it up for questions if you have any. And if not, that's fine.
Tammy, I have a question.
Sure.
How long does the research process take?
Sure. So what we've put together is a couple different tiers for the market research, because everyone has different budgets, different time frames, and really different accessibility to their audience. And so the research can take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, or up to 8 weeks, depending on if you're doing like the full-on brand insights, or you're doing what we call the light version of the brand insights.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we want to thank you guys for your time today. I want to be aware and conscious and respectful of everyone's time. So we thank you for your time. Please go to that page and check out those resources for you. And we hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, everyone.
And Tim, thanks for hosting.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye-bye.